Hi guys, and welcome back to the Uninkable Dads podcast. And on today's episode, we will be going through some set champs winning decks. We'll be talking a little bit of the reprint news that got released with Fabled. And always, we'll be bringing you the flavor text game. We also have a email that someone reached out to us, and we're going to be discussing on, is this the perfect time to be rejoining Lorcana? So, as always, I'd like to introduce my co-host, the man who bought a spicy rogue deck to set champs and discovered the true meaning of a 0-3 drop. It's Granddad Glenn. So, how have you been? How's your week been?
My week's been pretty good, thank you. Today was mail day, so it probably won't mean a lot to a lot of people, but Rapunzel and a monstrous dragon dropped through my letterbox, so they are the last two cards that I need for the to have a complete set of the first chapter. So that's nice. Exciting to get stuff through the mailbox. And yeah, Lily tells me I need another 3 Rapunzels for her deck now. But yeah, no, it was a good week. No set champs at the weekend. Obviously, we had locals on Friday. Yep. I was trialing a new deck there, which went all right. So, won the first 2 rounds, lost to red blue in the third. They hit be prepared, then double mana, then be prepared again. So at this point, I'm not playing Lorcana. I'm just, I don't know, enacting a reenactment of my own failure. I'm just sitting there and going, yeah, what do I do?
Just putting cards on board and watching them disappear.
Absolutely. And I thought, okay, that's fine. That's one game, fine. So next game, they hit be prepared, then double mana, then be prepared, then drop to third mana.
Nice.
Yeah,
nice.
Right. Yeah. So, so I ended up 4th, which I was very pleased with. The deck where I'm fairly well. My granddaughter Lily ended up 3rd. So she had a very good night. First round, she always asked me to shuffle a deck, so I shuffled the deck, sent her off to play a game, and I was in the middle of my first turn, and she came back and said, "Can you shuffle my deck?" And I'm like, "Why are you shuffling your deck again?" She's like, "Well, I've played." Like, what? Yeah. What happened? So yeah, she won that 2-0. And then a second round. So we got next half an hour of the podcast to kind of go through this play by play. I don't know if you want to take it from here or.
Quickly,
no. But
well, yeah. I can tell you how my week went. It was my week was going well, and then I faced Lily in the second round. Yeah, that deck is ridiculously quick. So I was playing red blue, and I missed ramp both times when I was going first, and I still couldn't keep up with it. I think one game I went through 2 B preps, 2 Mauis, and 3 Pirates Life, and she still won the game. It's just crazy. It was absolutely crazy. She played it extremely well. She had ink left and she wasn't overexerting into B prep. She was just playing it so well that there was just nothing I could do. And like I said, it went so quick. It was unbelievable. It was literally like our game 1. She got up and I think come over to you again to shuffle, and everyone was like 2 or 3 ink, and our game 1 was done. It's like I had a nice break afterwards.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's what Lily enjoys. She gets time to go and just chat to her friends or eat an ice cream. Yeah, but yeah, so it turns out that all the testing in the world can't prepare you for the raw, unfiltered chaos of a child with glittery sleeves and 0 fear. But yeah, so she was absolutely on a roll. She then was up against another red blue in the third round.
Mm-hmm.
Did exactly the same thing again, round 1. Good friend of ours, very good player. I looked across at him and he was just laughing and just shrugging his shoulders and say, well, what do you do with that? She then, I think, bricked quite hard in games 2 and 3 because he came over to me afterwards and said he kind of felt bad because her deck beat her rather than he felt that he beat her. Yeah. But hence the thing about the Rapunzels. We hadn't got any Rapunzels. So she was playing with... Desperate Plan and Doc.
Nice.
And she got stuck with 3 Desperate Plan in her hand. So she was
I think
tip those out and put Rapunzels in. It would be better deck. I'm like, yeah, it would be.
Yeah, I spoke to Panos as well because obviously he was running red blue, I was running red blue, and I said to him, "What did you do different to me? What did I miss?" And he hit turn 2, and he double ramped as well. He got rid of his hand pretty much to double ramp to make sure he was up there, and then she bricked on top of that. So I think that, like you say, and she got very unfortunate. I think if she had got the right cards, I think he would have been in trouble. So. But yeah, you could make a deal with her. She goes and wins a set champs and gets you that Jafar map. Maybe you buy a couple more Rapunzels.
Yeah, I think I might have to be trying to pull in a favour and see if I can borrow a couple for her for the set champs on Saturday, because
is she playing this
the
week?
way she's playing? She is now. So okay. she wasn't down for it, but
you can borrow mine. You can borrow mine. It's all good.
Thank you very much. I did say to her after Friday, do you fancy it? And she was like, where is it? I said, yeah, locals, where you're familiar.
Yeah.
And she was like, yeah, we'll play. So
sounds good. Yeah, no, they're in Millie's deck, but Millie's not here this week. Her set champs will be in her base, which is next weekend. So yeah, I can take them out of there, so you can borrow them Saturday.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, I'm just helping them. Why am I helping? I'm probably going to get around 1 now, and watch it be Rapunzel that wins her the game. But yeah, no, it's talking about Amber Steel. We've actually got an Amber Steel deck list that seems to be doing quite well at set champs at the minute, and I thought we'd have a quick look over it because this has something slightly different. This could also be something that you decide that this could go in her deck. So we have a Amber Steel deck here, which was come first at a Rainage for St. James, and I didn't get the name or anything, unfortunately, but it has Goofy in. Now, they're still running 4 Rapunzel, but they're running 2 Goofy. Now, Goofy, at the start of your turn, you may remove 1 damage from each other character. Ready each character, you remove damage this way. So I first looked at this and was like, it's okay. You're going to get some damage here or there. This is better than I originally thought. I have actually played against this deck on testing, and Smee damages himself every turn. So Smee readies himself after every turn. So he's a nightmare to deal with. You can't just challenge into him. Rhino has resist too. So you can swing Rhino into something, do 4 damage, and as long as it's not a 5 hit, if it's 4 or less, he survives, and then you just ready him after the turn anyway.
Okay.
Same with anything else. If you need to swing Lawrence into something to take, say, like in the mirror, to take out a Daisy, you could do that, take the damage off and ready him, so then he can't be challenged. It's a bit of a nightmare to deal with. If they get it down and get it working, it kind of stalls the game because you're ready. You're like, okay, well, I know they're going to quest. I'm just going to have to deal with them after they've quested. And then all of a sudden, Goofy comes on board and everything readies again. And you're like, oh, well, there goes that idea. So it was quite interesting.
Yeah, interesting.
I think it's adds a new element to the deck that I don't think we've seen as of yet.
Yeah, I'm just looking, trying to work out what it's not playing.
Yeah, I mean, the Calhoun's there, which, some decks aren't running that because of the Uninkable count. They normally got Zeus instead. You still got Penny, you still got Lady.
There's no Lilos. That's common.
Not many of these run Lilo. No Beast, no Pluto, I suppose. So you have got the Bodyguard element.
Quite a common one, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
But I guess you're utilising Goofy there instead of Pluto, right?
Yeah.
It's doing a similar thing in a different way.
Yeah, exactly.
It's questing for 2. Yeah.
I mean, worst case scenario as well, if you need to, you could always cast Storm onto your own character to draw a card, and then Goofy already to protect it. So there's definitely synergy here with it, and I think, well, it obviously works well because it won. But I think Goofy's a nice little addition that could really mix things up and make things a little bit awkward for people. Yeah. We've got a couple of other decks to look at as well. So after last time we looked at the set champs meta, since then we've actually found a Ruby Sapphire that come first in a set champs. I can't remember how many people this was, but I get the feeling it was quite a few. I think it was about 36. And this is kind of DKP. It's a little bit different. I think it doesn't normally run the hideaway. I think Goofy's standard, isn't he? But just not
Goofy's
2.
DKP, yeah.
3, yeah. So, I mean, apart from the hideaway, I don't think there's anything majorly different with it. Obviously, you're sacrificing potentially Hades there. Normally that's a 2 and 2 with Sisu. But apart from that, it looks relatively as a standard list. And this wasn't far off what I was playing, to be fair. I think the only difference was I was running an extra Hades and extra Goofy instead of 2 hideaways.
Mm.
So yeah, it's a fun deck to play, and it has done it. We've got some set champs meta like to look at in a minute with numbers, but yeah, that was interesting to actually see that it seems to be on a comeback now. Whether they know this can answer Amber still and people have been playing it, I'm not too sure, but we'll have a look.
It's only 8 Uninkables, which is...
Yeah, that's standard for that deck, to be fair. And then another one which I thought was a little bit random was a Blurple list with a little bit of spice. Cusco, I think, isn't standard, but it has been seen in these decks. I did run Cusco myself. Ana, again, it is kind of in Blurple. But 2 Kida, a Ratigan, and Everyone's Got Weakness is definitely not normally in this deck. I'm struggling to work out what they're missing. Obviously, Peter Pan's obviously not normally in here as well.
No goat.
Yeah, it's a no goat. Got your ramp, so you got turn 2 ramp. Turn 3, I suppose you have to play Pan, but preferably you don't want to. You want to ramp into Genie. But I suppose Kida has ward, and she's a 3, so in that red-blue matchup, I suppose that could help you win the game there. Yeah, and also 2 Into the Unknown, which, again, be interesting. I'm trying to work out what he's actually missing from this. I suppose you've got 1 down on Iago.
Yeah, I think it's counts because you got
a
bit short there.
Down
1. There's only 2.
Tamato's only 2.
Only 2 Tamatoas. I think that's what it is, rather than cards.
There's about 4 slots there, so yeah. But yeah, I thought it was quite interesting with the Ratigan. I don't know where Ratigan and Monstro could be dangerous. Start having to get rid of everything and you can't ink. But
yeah, I must admit, Warden questing for 4 and then a big body.
Yeah, at the end of the turn, if you didn't put any cards in your ink pile, this card gets banished.
Yeah,
it's not even like...
Not really a problem with...
If he's exerted
Blurple,
as well, like, so you don't even have a choice. You might as well quest him because he's going to get banished. But yeah, I thought it was quite an interesting one. Interesting take on Blurple. Like I say, did well. It finished first, and I think, again, this was another 20-plus player event, so it seems to be working its way back out and leveling out a little bit. So we've got some what we'll call set champs meta, because these are specifically looking at set champs, not just tournaments in general. So I took the 10 latest at the time of doing this set champs decks, and basically the yellow bars are the top 8. So red, blue, burn, or DKP is now one of the highest in set champs. We've seemed to have had 10 appearances in the top 8, with 1 coming second and 2 of them finishing first. So that seems to have a massive turnaround compared to the previous 2 weeks. And that seems to have made a big comeback. Blurple is, again, there's 10 and 1 win. So it seems to be it's getting into that top 8, but it's not been able to close the game out, which is what we've seen locally as well. We've seen a couple where they've made it into the top 8, even top 4, but not been able to take the win. Green, purple, discard. Again, there's not been as many. There's only been 3 but 2 of them converted the win. So you'd like to think this is the strongest on conversion rate of, but we don't know how many there was in the entirety of the pool. Obviously, this is just what made top 8. Purple Steel, again, so 5.
I think that's becoming more popular as well.
Yeah, I think it's a good way to answer Amber Steel. When you've got 5 of them in the top 8 with 2 wins and 2 firsts, and then Amber Steel is 5 with only 1 first. I think these are slightly adapting to be able to overcome Amber Steel, and this is why we're seeing that fall off slightly. It's the same with Red, Purple, Evasive. We've got 8 top 8s with 2 wins and 2 seconds. So these seem to be the more consistent ones at the minute, and Amber Steel seems to be falling off. But now we've got this Goofy all of a sudden come out of nowhere. Is this going to be the difference? Because this relies on challenging, this relies on challenging, this does and this does. The only one that doesn't is the Purple Steel.
Yeah.
So it could be interesting to see if more people are starting to run the Goofy and whether Amber Steel picks back up again. Obviously, what we've got 2 weeks left to set Amber Steel?
Yeah, 2 weeks.
So, yeah, unfortunately, the one I'm tempted to be playing, Green Steel Discard, seems to have only made 2 top 8s and no wins. So half of me has been put off by playing it just by that stat alone, to be fair.
A lot of it's down to the player and playing something that you're comfortable with, right?
Yeah,
because
exactly.
as you say, there's a lot of variation in those wins there, aren't there?
Yeah, and also you got to imagine each area has its own meta as such. Obviously, this is a wide range across 10 different events, across 10 different locations. Whereas, your local meta may be completely different. You might not have anyone run Chernodog or Green Steel Discard at all, and 90% of the room is Blurple and Purple Steel. In that case, so it all depends on what your local meta is, which is obviously the hardest thing to work out, as we discussed last time, with 2 stores being 4 doors away from each other and being completely opposite. So, yeah, we seem to have an appearance of decks that seem to be answering Amber Steel, but with 2 weeks left, it'd be interesting to see if it turns it around and becomes the top deck again. Okay, so it's that time again for the flavor text game. So here we go. Another try of me being able to say a word that I may be able to say, I may not be able to say. So we'll try again. So last week's flavor text was the 12th rule of villainy. Close enough. If you don't have a throne, take one. As I got told, it's not a phone, it's a throne. So yeah, we actually had...
thought it was good. If you haven't got a phone, take one. Fair enough.
Yeah, I mean, that seems to be happening quite a lot, but we won't go into that. We had one of our locals just jump straight in there and answered it within 10 seconds of watching it. So we'll give a shout out to Ryan. Well done. A bit of a show off there. Said he didn't even need to look, but yeah. So it was Lady Tremaine for anyone who's listening and not watching, and we will be doing the flavor text for this week at the end of the episode. So stay tuned for that one. Moving on from there, we actually had a listener email come in to us. So I'm going to call him Jim just to keep him anonymous. But he has put into us saying, "Hi guys, hope you don't mind me contacting you. And thank you for your content. I stumbled across your podcast as a Brit living in the US. It's always good to hear some British accents talking about Lorcana." Well, I'm surprised you can understand what I'm saying half the time, but we'll go with it. So when Lorcana first came out, I was really excited to finally get into a TCG, and I was lucky enough to get my hands on some cards when they were hard to get hold of. We managed to get a full first set and started playing at my locals. Small group, but really enjoyable. My wife gave birth to our first child. Congratulations. I carried on buying the sets, but stopped playing. I have a whole second and third set. Then now the new set comes out, and I just buy starter decks and tropes. So I wanted to jump back in now that my son's a little bit older and commit to playing weekly again. But I feel with every set that goes by becoming more and more difficult and daunting to know where to start. The gaming group where I did play has gotten larger and taking it a lot more seriously. So do we have any tips for him? Basically, he's looking at getting back into the game and back into playing. So this really jumped out at me as perfect timing, really, when I read this, because I feel like with Fabled coming out, we're about a month away at this point from Fabled. And when Fabled comes out, we already know, which we're going to go through in a second, that there's going to be a lot of reprints in Fabled from set 1 to 4, which, when you look at reprints, this, in a way of, if you don't have full playsets of 1 to 4, you don't need to worry, because the cards that are playable are going to be the cards that are reprinted. So all the other cards aren't going to be playable. Well, unless you're playing Infinity format, obviously, but in standard constructed, which will probably be what your local, well, say Friday night, because that's when ours is, they are going to be core constructed. So they are going to be the reprinted cards. So this feels like the perfect time. If you're going to get back into this, Fabled is the set for you. You know, it's one of those ones you can go out and get, and all the cards you get, you're going to be able to play with. And also, we're at a start of a rotation, so you know you're going to get these for 18 months or so.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, it's not going to be rotated out next set like Jafar was.
No.
Well, Jafar's not being rotated out, but you know what I mean. So, you know, we've got more than enough time for people to enjoy the cards that they're getting, and we're getting that point where the reprints, so the meta's going to massively change. So no one's going to know what the good decks are. Everyone's going to be testing from the beginning again. So I think it really is the perfect time to be jumping back in.
Yeah, I think I agree. I think it's a really good time for new players as well. As you say, if you are brand new, you can come in and not have to worry about all these different sets. You can focus on, collecting cards from this one set, and as you say, you'll probably get most of what you need out of that. So the gentleman also sort of mentioned that his local scene has become more competitive. I mean, if we look at our local scene, I can understand that. We'd often have 4 or 6 of us on a Friday night, sort of sitting there and trying to work out strategies ourselves and play. We regularly get 12, 16 on a Friday night now. We've had new people come in that've come in from other card games. We've got better ourselves just through playing and talking to each other and helping each other. But I would say don't let that put you off, because we have new people coming to our locals quite regularly. I mean, in the last couple of months, we've had several new players start at our locals. Some of those players have never played a TCG before. There's one lovely little girl that comes down who's really keen, and she came down and played, and sort of dad came down and watched her for the first few weeks. And because he was like, well, yeah, I like collecting the cards, but I'm not really into playing it. He's now put himself a deck together and sits down and plays with us, and enjoys it just as much. So
yeah, exactly.
If you haven't played for a while, jump back in. That's the only way that you're going to really get up to speed. I'd say watch a few YouTube videos. This is a good one, but there are others. Have a look at what sort of decks.
YouTube, Lorcana. I might have to find some of these. I didn't realize.
So yeah, have a look, see what sort of decks people are playing and talking about. The gentleman said that he'd been collecting cards but not playing, so he's obviously got cards at home.
I think he said he had a full set up until 3rd set, and then he started going to starter decks on a trove instead of like bulk buying. So I mean, you've got things like your local players now that are taking the game seriously. I'm sure they would love to welcome you back. Especially if you know some of these people, you're going to be going in and they'll be like, oh, nice to see you. You haven't seen you for a while, and just be honest with them. Just say, look, I've been collecting, but I haven't been playing. Let's run through this. You'll find after 2 weeks you'll be back into it. And like I say, with Fabled being this massive, massive reset on the meta, no one knows what's going to be good. There's a lot of theory crafting going around at the minute of people building decks with just set 5 and above to work out what the meta is going to be, but no one knows what the reprints are. So that's going to throw a spanner in the works. So it is the perfect time if you're a new player who's never played before and like, I want to get into this, but I'm now 8 sets behind. Yeah, I understand that, but set 1 to 4 is now being rotated out. So you're not 8 sets behind, you're now only 4 behind. So, and a lot of the cards, I think when you did the math yourself, I think a lot of the cards that see play, you're only talking about 20% of a set. So if you work out our deck, there's roughly 20 from each set in a deck. So, some sets, there are some deck lists out there now that are running no set 8 cards whatsoever, even though set 8 have been out nearly 2 months now. So it is the perfect time. You're going to get a load of reprints, which means that it's going to, completely change it, and people are going to be working things out just as much as you are. So I really do think it is the perfect time.
And I think something you said there is really important as well. You said go down your locals and speak to people, basically. And I mean, my experience of TCG players is we like nothing more than to talk about decks and cards and strategies. So yeah, don't be afraid of that. I think sometimes people feel a little bit awkward about asking questions or asking for help. I am sure that if you pitched up at as FPS said, if you pitch up at your locals and just say, look, I'm looking to get back in, but I'm a bit lost with what I should be playing, some of these new mechanics, maybe, if you're less familiar with, I suspect you'd have a group of people around you wanting to chat about things quite quickly. People are generally...
sometimes someone who's been out of the game as well will see things differently to someone who's been in it. So you could turn up at locals and go, but have you not thought about this? And they'll go, oh yeah, it really can be a massive change.
Yeah.
But just quickly, while we're on to it, we are obviously live with the behind the scenes on Twitch, and we've actually had a live question come in about this, so we'll go over that now. But if anyone doesn't know, we do stream the behind the scenes on Twitch. So they were saying that, do you think the reprints will affect the card prices? So cards that are really pricey in set 1, if reprinted, do you think they may come down or be more available? And this is, exactly what the sort of thing we're talking about. We won't say what cards because they haven't been officially announced, but there is information out there on what some of the reprinted cards are going to be, and we've already seen fluctuation on like Card Market, for instance, and stuff where those cards have changed in price, and if anything, they're going down because people know that there's going to be another version of that card come out. So some of it's going down, and say, argument's sake, again, I'm not going to say the cards, but some of the enchanted versions of those cards might have gone up because people are like, oh, that enchanted I can now play for guaranteed another 16 months. So those prices might change. So I think it will be good, and it will bring the price down for set 1 to 4 because there's double of it out there, if that makes sense.
Yeah, which I think is good if it allows people to get hold of the legendaries and things that you need to play the top decks. That's what we want to see, right? We want to see everybody being able to play, at least one really competitive deck.
Yeah.
So, yes, this is where I was a little bit surprised that the reprints are straight reprints rather than alternate art reprints.
Yes. Yeah.
Because I think if they'd been alternate art reprints, you would have maintained the price of your original set cards. So, for example, if there's a legendary in set 1 and it's being reprinted, but the art is different, you would still have collectors who want that set 1 card because they want to collect a full set 1 or a full play set of set 1. And you'd also have some players who are like, yeah, but I like that art. I want 4 of that art. It might be more expensive, but I want that art. Whereas you'd have some players who'd be like, I just want the functionality of the card. So, yeah, I'll take whichever one's cheaper.
Yeah, you're going to still have the numbering, aren't you? So the set 9's still going to be in the corner of the card. So you are going to get some collector... I use the word purist because it's the one that pops to mind first. that will say, well, yes, I've got this card in set 1, but I've also got it in set 9, and they will have that master binder. They're not going to go, I'm not going to bother with this card because I've got the set 1 one. They will want the set 9 and the set 9 foil version of that card. So talking about reprints, obviously we do have a little bit of news. So this is the ratio of what we're looking at for Fabled, and this is how important I think this is going to be for new players. The 171 cards are returning. So in a set, as standard, we get 204 cards. So the 33 new cards and 171 is obviously 204. So we are getting 204 cards as usual in a set. The difference is obviously 171 of them are reprints or returning cards. From that, we know that 6 of them are legendary, 12 are super rare. So you're talking 1 a color and 2 a color here. 37 of them are rare, 48 uncommon, and 68 common. So that makes up the 71. Now, in amongst this, there are 6 new enchanted cards that will be a returning card, but the enchanted will be different. So, argument's sake, we had from set 1 Surfer Stitch and the Surfer Stitch enchanted. You may get a different legendary having a different enchanted. You're not going to get the same one. So it's not going to be another Surfer Stitch. It's going to be something different. And again, they don't have to be legendary, I don't believe. Not all enchantments are legendary. Some of them are rares, some of them are supers. So, but we've got 6 brand new enchanted. Yes, they're going to be reprints. So they're going to be old cards or old card mechanics or whatever, however you want to describe it. But they are 6 new enchanteds. And then going on to what we're actually receiving, which is new, is 6 legendaries. So 1 a color, 6 super rare, 12 rare, 6 uncommon, and 4 common. So again, there's nothing major here. That a lot of this is there's a hell of a lot more reprints than there are new cards. And then obviously we've got the 2 iconics, which are going to be Mickey and Minnie. We know they're Mickey and Minnie, but we don't know, what their stats are or anything like that. Which are going to be harder to get than enchanted. 12 enchanted, so 12 brand new cards, all enchanted, which obviously proves that they can't all be legendary. And then we've got the new one as well, which is epics. So there's going to be 18 epics in the set, which are between legendaries and enchanted. And there's going to be 7 new ones and 11 which are going to be old style cards. So it's going to be a big set. I think it's given people options. For the collectors, you've got a lot to chase because you've now got 18 new enchanteds, 18 new epics, and 2 iconics to chase down, plus the new cards. And for people who are just coming into this or just need to catch up, it's 171 cards that are being reprinted. So,
and I think there's something important there. If you look at those 33 new cards, the skew of rarity, if you like. So if you look at the 171 returning cards, those numbers get bigger as you go down, right? So the majority of those cards are common and uncommon cards.
Yeah.
Whereas if we look at the 33 new ones, it is skewed far more up to the top. So 6 legendaries, 6 super rare, 11 rare, and then only 6 uncommon and 4 common. So there's a likelihood that although it's relatively few new cards, these new cards could be quite impactful cards.
Yeah. I mean, if you take in past sets to look at, most of the very powerful cards are rare. I'm just going to think of a few. You've got Strength, you've got Maui, the Pirate's Life, a few of the big meta cards. I don't think Smears, I think Smears. No, yeah, be prepared. So there's a lot of very powerful cards, and they're all rare. So the rare slot is quite a powerful slot. And yeah, we'll see if that continues. But all of these add up to what they were previously. So we normally have 72 common cards, and we've got 72, which is obviously divided by 6. So I think that's, what's that? Quick maths. 12 in that set? Yeah. So you get 12 per colour. And then it works out. So, and obviously, feel free to do the maths, anyone who wants to do it. But it's the same ratio as before. So we normally get 2 of each colour and legendary. So 6 old ones, 6 new ones. So, but yeah, this really is going to give us a chance of resetting and giving new players a real good chance of getting into the game. If you haven't done so already, and returning players a good chance of resetting and rejoining if you have had that time out. And then going from there, the only other thing we have for you on reprints is we do know a few of them. So the confirmed reprints that we had the other day been announced are Sisu, which is the little Sisu, 3-cost uninkable 1/1 when you play this character, banish character, 1 strength or less. Now these are the promos that you'll get for going to league or events or whatever, however your store runs them. So you got the pins as well that go with it. And then the big card, which I think everyone was very excited about, is obviously Strength of Raging Fire, which is a very powerful card at the minute. It's in a lot of decks, and seeing this as a promo, I think is really nice. It helps confirm this is reprinted, and it also means that it's going to be widely available to everyone. So I think this is a rare, isn't it? So, it's going to be in that set as a rare reprint, but you can also get it as a promo. And then the Queen here in the middle is actually a brand new card. We haven't got this currently, so we don't know its willpower or how much it quests for or anything like that. So yeah, we've had a few information. We record this on a Wednesday night, so the first set of reveals is actually tomorrow, which is typical. Gen Con starts tomorrow, and they're going to be revealing a few things, whether they're reprints or whether they're new cards. We don't know yet, but we're trying add in a few pictures or whatever now. Look, cards everywhere, all on the screen. How lovely. So yeah, that's obviously all we have for now on the reprints and reveals, and obviously we will be discussing them in the future episodes as we do get them. But going from there, we have a couple of little bits we'd like to talk about. So first of all, we want to give a quick shout out to obviously our local store. So our local is obviously Chelmsford Geek Retreat, and we have their set champs this weekend. But we also now have a date for the Grandad Glenn birthday Fabled Super event. So yeah, this is they've got our sealed event on for the 31st of August, which also happens to be your birthday.
It does.
You're coming along, yeah. You're not going to let us all down, man.
Kind of better, I guess.
Yeah. Look, you're on the picture, mate. You've got no choice. So yeah, if anyone is in the local area and you do want to do a sealed event, Geek Chelmsford will be holding one. 6 packs, build a 40-card deck, 3 in colours. So I think you said you want 7 packs, don't you? You want a bonus pack. Yeah, see, look, getting in his excuses already.
Exactly. Got to have some help. I mean, it'd be an interesting set to do sealed, right? Because, if you have been playing, one of the things when you do sealed, normally at the start of a set, is you spend a lot of time reading every card as you go through your pack, because it's like, what do these do? So this is going to be a set where it's like, oh, I already know some of these, how these are going to combo with other things. So
yeah. Also, there's a lot of speculation at the minute that a lot of the reprints may be a lot of songs, or potentially we're getting new songs, because all of the half decent powerful songs are all set 1 to 4. So we've either got to be getting some new ones or getting other ones, which is very weird, because normally in a set you only have a couple, and when you're doing sealed, you never pull removal, because you're like, you'd be well happy if you get a strength and maybe a Zeus or a B prep, or pulling a B prep from a pack for sealed in set 9. I never thought it'd happen. Well, might not yet, but
Yeah, I mean, it'd be interesting, and I think, given we've seen things like the Ariel, the mermaid that's on, I think, the starter boxes, and she one of the ones that's quite a hefty singer. She's singer 7 or something. So if they've got some of that, going on, it suggests there might be some songs for them to sing as well. There's still cards out there like Prince Naveen that's never really shone, because they've never really had the song. So it's an important mechanic within Lorcana, so it wouldn't surprise me if they decided to bring a few
Well,
new
the
ones out.
songs are always a big part of the movies as well. That's like everyone remembers all the big songs in the movie. So we just had a comment on Twitch as well saying that we think that Grander Glenn should be allowed to pick one card from everyone else's cards he wants. So you get
like that.
call out on swaps.
We're
not giving you a card, I'll swap
there
you.
we go.
But
Yeah.
Well, I'll let you take one as long as it's not a legendary.
Okay. Now I'm gonna say, can I swap my my vanilla
my uncommon
vanilla for your iconic, please?
No, put it this way: if I get an iconic, I ain't playing with it. I do not care. I think this is the thing, right? So, is this going to change Pack Rush forever? Because you take a chance and like you play Pack Rush with, you try and be gentle with the cards. If you've got an enchanted, you've got an enchanted. A decent enchanted could be worth what in Tamso last set was about 280, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So it's a decent amount, but it's not groundbreaking. Iconics, we don't know. They could be 500, 600, 700 quid. It's like, are you really going to risk doing that in a thing? Anyone who is watching on Twitch, I've just seen that the camera has just died on us, and I don't know why. So I will look at that in a second. I don't know why that's lost out. You should still be able to hear me completely fine. So I'll have a look at that in a second. So going from there, we actually just want to give a quick shout out again to the Laser Outlet, who obviously did our custom deck boxes for us, and we just want to give them a quick shout out. We noticed they've done a one-piece deck box. We don't know whether this was on the back of anyone seeing our thing or not, but it's nice to see. Obviously, someone's obviously reached out to them and asked for a one-piece one, so anyone who does play One Piece, if you also play Lorcana, there's also an option for One Piece. I'm sure they'll do a Pokemon one. They'll probably do any TCG you think of. So definitely give them a shout out. The QR code will take you to their link tree, so you can find all their pages on there. So
pop down to Chelmsford for our set champs on Saturday, and you'll see us with our custom deck boxes.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I've got to admit, I do really like the art on the One Piece one. If I played One Piece, I'd definitely be thinking of getting one. Yeah. So that leads us on to our flavor text game. So the flavor text for this week is a card that has been in one of the decks that we looked at today, and it is a pen type. So that's all I'll say there. And the flavor text is: you need a good plan and even better luck to make it across these treacherous waters. So that is, you need a good plan and even better luck to make it across these treacherous waters. Again, I picked one that I could struggle with. Why did I pick one that's got treacherous in it?
Got words in it.
Yeah. Oh, thanks. The flavor text this week is... So if you know what that's from... So yeah, drop us a comment, let us know, and we will reveal that at the start of next week's video. Yeah, is there anything else you'd like to bring up for this week?
Do let us know again, how you get on with your set champs. We're happy to give you a shout out if you want a shout out on the podcast. So drop it in the comments below. Like and subscribe while you're there. And if you're turning up to Chelmsford, don't bring Amber Steel.
You can bring it, just don't play it.
Just don't play it.
Leave it in the deck box.
Bring it. Leave it in the bag.
Yeah.
We don't want to see
bring
that.
it
Thank you.
And leave about 10 cards out, and then we can, call judge. But yeah, apart from that, all good. So yeah, thank you very much for tuning in. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Obviously, it does massively help us out. I know we've had a massive influx of subscribers recently, and we did hit that 200 mark. We've surpassed it now, so that's massive for us. So thank you for everyone who has done that. And yeah, we will be back next week with hopefully one of us doing this. And
don't jinx it. Yeah.
What cheering? That's what I'm only cheering because it's the new episode.
Yeah, I'll hold up whatever Lily wins.
Yeah. I mean, she's probably do better than
Probably.
both of us anyway. So yeah. So it is time to roll up that playmat.
Pack away the dice.
And remember, stay unequal.
See you next time.
See you next time.